Welcome to Chasing Green Arrows. We're all still pondering that big decision, the big question. What about going no Salah, no Haaland? Or what about going all in on Salah and Haaland? Today we're going to talk about not having those players in our squads. I'm totally unconvinced by this idea, so you've got to win me over in this period of this video. So let's get at it and tell me why you think that this is plausible, because I really don't.
Well, something we all have to consider is it Salah, Haaland, both or neither? And everyone should draft those four scenarios, right?
Yeah.
I know where I'm at and I've looked at it and I know I'm going to Salah. But there's others out there that want to experiment and go a little bit different this season. The reason we're not putting together a Haaland and Salah draft today is because you're going to do that in your team selection. And we got that coming out in a couple of days' time. Most are going just Salah or just Haaland. But if you go neither, and I know some very good FPL managers, FPL General, one of my good friends, makes some of the best FPL content out there. He's committed to it. He's locked in. He has said, I absolutely am going with a draft that's no Haaland, no Salah. If General's doing it, you should at least consider it. Okay, I'm not saying do it. I'm not doing it. But it looks good because you can get pretty much everyone else. Now, where you fall short possibly is captaincy. You're going to be backing against the template every single week, because the weeks when no one goes Salah captain, they'll be going Haaland captain. So you're going to be captaining players like Ollie Watkins, players like Cole Palmer. Well, that's players like Wirtz. That's fine. Maybe they hit. But going without the best two players in the game is proper ballsy. Mm-hmm. But the team looks good. Let's have a look at it.
Yeah, okay, let's do it, mate. I'm looking forward to this. I have got some thoughts on what I think could work, but I'm not convinced on all of it. Right, so in goal, Sanchez, Jose Sa.
I think this is the best two. I think Sanchez is the best keeper. I think Sanchez might be the best in the bracket. If you've got 4.5 keepers, if you can find the extra $500,000 to get to Sanchez, you get one of the best defenses in the league. Chelsea looked great defensively at the end of last season. They looked great defensively in the Club World Cup. Sanchez at 5. Ideally, you want to pair him with a 4.0, and we might just get that with Dubravka. But if you're on bench boost Sterling, you need a playing keeper, and Dubravka hasn't happened yet. Someone like Jose Sa, I think, is great. But yeah, this is actually a variation of my team. I've just taken Salah out and spent a little bit more money.
Okay, cool. Let's see the defense then, because this is getting towards the part that actually matters. Very solid selection. Could you have these players though, even if you did have Salah and Haaland?
Yeah, I don't know. This just feels like a sensible structure. You have a 6, a 5.5, a 5, and then 2 4.5s. You don't have to have the 4 million fodder. If you're not going Salah and Haaland, you don't have to have Esteve on your bench or Enildo, the 4 million picks. So I think Daniel Munoz is being criminally underlooked. He is the most attacking defender. He probably comes with the most open play goal threat of any defender in the game by some distance. Mm-hmm. I think Daniel Munoz is brilliant. And everyone will say Palace got hard fixtures. I don't mind their fixtures for goals. And yes, he might not get cleans early on, but Daniel Munoz comes with upside. He's all right at the defensive contribution points. He's in. Nico Williams isn't as good as Murillo or Milenkovic, but you save 0.5. Forest will keep clean sheets. Dorgu could be a fun pick at 4.5. He'll spend a lot of time on the bench. And Van der Ven's going to get loads of clean sheets now. Paulina's joining. Spurs are going to be a good defense. And Virgil van Dijk, he's the community darling. The world and their dog are picking Virgil. Personally, for my team, I don't think he'll make it in. In fact, almost certainly won't. But I understand why you go there, because Liverpool historically have been a good defender under slot. I just look at their opening fixtures and think maybe they might concede more than we think, Liverpool, but let's see.
Okay, well, the midfield is where I really want to see how your team starts to shape up, because this is where you do miss Salah. So let's see who you've made up for and whether I think it's sufficient. Palmer, Saka, bit of a surprise. Wirtz, Anderson, Rodgers. Tell me why, and then I'll judge.
I couldn't work out if you go no Salah, if you have to have Bukayo Saka or not. Arsenal have got tough fixtures. You almost certainly can have Gyökeres. I just felt like Saka straight away will be a 90-minute man if fit. Yes, you probably lose out on penalties, but it's Arsenal's best attacker and they have Leeds game week 2. So Saka would be a captain game week 2, which could be a lovely differential. Salah and Haaland have got tough opponents, Newcastle and Spurs. Saka has Leeds at home. Palmer, Wirtz, great picks. Everyone's got them for a reason. Anderson and Rodgers, so good. 5.5 and 7. They're the two best in their price bands for me. If you can spend 7, you get Rodgers. But at 5.5, Anderson's going to be brilliant at picking up the extra 2 points.
Yeah. One thing I'd say that would jump out at me straight away is Salah, penalties, and a captain.
Yeah.
Who's the penalty taker and captain that's missing from the midfield to make up for that?
Yeah, and Saka, he was that guy last year.
Yeah.
He's not this year because he's going to lose penalties. And Arsenal only got 2 penalties last year. So Saka, everyone's like, oh, he's going to lose penalties. We'll see a big drop in his points. Well, they only actually got 2. So he does get a ton of open play points. And remember, Saka's usually on corners. Arsenal score a load of goals from corners. Remember the Saka-Gabriel link-ups last year.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah, you lose out if you don't have Mo, but you also get a lot of money. So you don't have the enablers. Like most squads by this point, you see low spend on keepers. You see 4 million bench fodder in defence. You see maybe 2 enablers in midfield. If you go without Salah, you have a really deep, good bench boost squad early on. But obviously, you miss out on captaincy. It just means you've got to go differential with the armband. But that can be fun. That could be an opportunity to back against the template. To win FPL, Ali Hangarov won FPL. I've spoken to 3 FPL winners, Ali Hangarov, Ben Crabtree, and Joshua Bull, all in the last week. All 3 of them have one thing in common. They don't play for good ranks. They play to win. And to win, and the vast majority of us don't do that. We play for good ranks. Therefore, we pick to win. You have to back against the template almost every single week. And they do things differently. And Ali Hangarov is not going with Salah this year. Joshua Bull is not going with Haaland. And Ben Crabtree isn't going with either. So straight away, those 3 winners, look at their teams for the next coming season. They're all playing differently from day one. It's just how you play if you want to win. Obviously, if you don't win, you've got a very good chance of falling way behind and having a dreadful season because it's either hit or miss. There's no in between.
Yeah. I have to say, I think I would have Bruno Fernandes in if I didn't have him for the penalty aspect.
Yeah, well, maybe instead of Wirtz, or would you need Wirtz to cover you from
Wirtz
Salah?
or Saka? Yeah,
so instead of Saka,
maybe Saka instead of Saka. To be honest, I think
I thought about Marmoush too, but you're right.
I think Marmoush is definitely a shout
Bruno,
too. Let me see the front 3, but yeah, the fact that there is no Man City players in here so far is going to be costly if there's no Haaland, and Marmoush being now called as a midfielder, going to be on free kicks, still going to score goals from open play. I think Marmoush is a good pick too. Your front 3, Ollie Watkins, Dom Solanke, Strand Larsen. Strand Larsen, so far being overlooked by a lot of people. I think he's going to be a growing asset as we get towards kickoff. Solanke, obviously, we're not sure as we record this on what his availability will be for game week 1, but we'll assume that he's fine because he's playing against Burnley. Burnley are going to be a team to attack, aren't they, in the opening week? So if you haven't got Salah, Haaland, then the way you make up for that is to target Burnley. So you'll have, Tottenham game week 1. I can't remember who's game week 2, but Man United play them game week 3. Forest playing game week 4. City play them after that, don't they? So you could have like Marmoush, Chris Wood, Bruno. So those sorts of players against Burnley are going to be good picks. Ollie Watkins seems like a good pick right now because he's still an Aston Villa player. We'll assume that remains the case. Talk us through why you think those 3 players make up for Erling Haaland.
Yeah, I mean, the elephant in the room might be Solanke and his injury, but let's assume he's fit. If he's not, there's other good 7.5 million picks. Mateta, Chris Wood, whatever. I did think you go without Haaland and Salah, you should be able to afford Gyökeres, but you can't if you go Saka. So it's only one Arsenal attacker there.
See, that doesn't make it worth it for me.
Me neither. When I was drafting this, I was like, okay. I thought I was going to fit Gyökeres in as well. Nope, put Dom Solanke in. You could take 1.5 out of Virgil van Dijk, go down to a 4.5 and go Solanke up to Gyökeres, and then maybe Saka is down to a Bruno, that saves you $1 million. But yeah, it's not ideal. Still, it doesn't get you everyone else as I thought it might do. I thought no Salah, go Haaland gets you everyone else. It doesn't. Watkins is a great pick. As long as there's nothing around heavy transfer speculation linking him with a move away around the deadline, that would unnerve me and I wouldn't necessarily want him in my game week 1 team. If we don't hear much between now and then and United and Newcastle are both happy with their strikers that they're going for or that's settled, Watkins is almost a lock for me. But it matters on his future.
Yeah.
And then Strand Larsen, 14 goals last year, I think, from open play. Or without pens. He's going to add penalties this year. Very likely he'll take them. He's got an all right record. He's got a good record. He's only taken 3, but he scored them all. Cunha will probably lose. Well, no Cunha, Strand Larson will get them. So I think Strand Larson's a great pick at 6.5 million. And then Solanke just because Thomas Frank teams score goals. But yeah, the big point is it doesn't get you everyone that you think it might.
Yeah, I think my gut feeling is that Salah and Haaland teams, where they're both in there, are not particularly weak, like beyond that. And that's why I still think you can get as good a team built around Salah as Haaland as you can do in this. If you changed this and you brought in Gyökeres and Bruno Fernandes, who are both penalty takers, and you could do it, you could take out, you could definitely tinker with this.
Solanke and Saka, and then downgrade Virgil.
Yeah. So you could do that, and then I think it becomes more appealing from a personal perspective because you've got the penalty factor, and you're also then targeting teams like Burnley in those opening weeks because you need a strong captain to go up against Mo Salah or go up against Haaland, which everybody else in the game is going to be doing, and that's going to have to be your focus to make up those points.
I like that. I think with hindsight, you make such good points there that actually Bruno, Gyökeres, and then a downgrade from Virgil instead of Saka, Virgil, and Solanke would be worth consideration for sure. Especially seeing how Bruno played. I made this before he played for United over the weekend. I was watching the game going, didn't put Bruno in that team. Damn. He looked every bit a 9 million FPL asset in that game, especially if he gets 50% of his minutes as the number 10. Yeah. Good stuff. Guys, I've enjoyed that. Make sure you're all hitting those buttons, won't you? Like,
yeah, absolutely.
You're welcome.
Drop the comments in. Tell us Salah, no Haaland, and show us your team drafts as well if you are going without either of those guys. We'll be back tomorrow on Chasing Green Arrows.